I feel like if I were to say that I'm about to read a 7-part series, everyone would think that I'm talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses or Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or something like that. But today I'm reading something a little bit different. A bunch of children's books. The Chronicles of Narnia is a really popular series by C.S. Lewis. Now I'm ready to finally try and read the books. I've heard that you can read it in almost any order. I really want to start with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is obviously the most popular book. So this is the one I'm gonna start with, so let's start reading. I just finished reading Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This book flew by. It's such easy writing to read quickly, and it's obviously pretty short. It was a really good book. I'm honestly kind of sad that it's over because I just want to keep reading it more. Because these are so well-loved books, I was really excited to read some reviews for each one before I started it, but surprisingly, they didn't all get as good of reviews as I thought they would. It's a really good book, but didn't ring the bell the same way The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe did. And I kind of expected it to be the same way as what a lot of these reviews are saying, which is basically it's a really good, probably 5-star book, but not quite as good as The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And honestly, I don't know how it could get better than Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So this is the first time I've filmed anything about Prince Caspian, and I'm already almost done with the book. This one's a little bit different from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's been a lot of backstory and a lot of just like build up to where we are now, finally like reaching the point, like the goal it's been trying to get to throughout this entire book thus far. I just finished Prince Caspian and it was so good. Luckily, any negative reviews for this book didn't have too much of an effect on me because this one also ended up being really good. But sadly, I can't say the same thing about the rest of the books. I have 5 books left to read. Next, I'm going to read Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I'm so excited. So really fun fact about me is that I eat spaghetti for dinner almost every single night. Spaghetti is one of the only things I know how to cook and I really like it, so I literally just eat it every single night. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, every night. So as a little reward, every time I finish one of these books, I'm going to make myself cook something different for dinner. It doesn't really matter what it is as long as it's not spaghetti. Alrighty, I'm gonna read some reviews of Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So this is the first one that I actually started seeing some 3-star reviews instead of just 4s and 5s like the other 2 books, so that is a little bit concerning. This person said it's the best story, it's so good. Then I kept scrolling and I saw this review from someone named Buttercup, and it pretty much just says that she really enjoys the book, but still it's a 3-star. I saw another 5-star that said, my best friend thinks this book is boring, but I disagree, so I think that's a good sign. I would randomly see like 1 or 2-star reviews mixed in. Like, this person just said 1.5 stars and that's it, didn't really give any explanation. I'm really close to halfway through Voyage of the Dawn Treader right now. It's getting better and better as it goes along. For some reason, in the very beginning, I was like a little bit worried that because it wasn't like super high suspense or high stakes that I wasn't going to enjoy this book as much as the others, but I do really like this one too. Like, it's not like super intense or like dramatic, but it's just really fun and it's fun to read. I'm hoping that maybe I can finish it today. Do you ever have moments where you're like, oh, I have the entire day to do whatever I want, so I'm just gonna like read the whole day, and obviously I'll finish this entire book before the end of the day. So you read for like a chapter or 2, and then I was like, okay, I'll take a break and I'll do those couple other like little things I need to do, and then I'll go back to reading and read for the rest of the day. I just finished those other 2 things I had to do and it's 4 o'clock. I've officially finished Voyage of the Dawn Treader. This book was so good. I feel like every time I start one of these books, I have the same opinion about it, which is I get really scared that I'm going to not like it. And then I go into it kind of thinking already that I'm not gonna like it, at least not as much as the last one. And then I very quickly like get really into the book. It flies by, and then always once it finishes, I like am just so in love with the book. For tonight's meal, so it's orzo with some veggies and some kind of weird vegetable based sauciness. I don't really know. I actually didn't even make it. My mommy made it for me. So that's for tonight, and it's hopefully gonna be delicious. I'm gonna read some reviews on The Silver Chair before I start it. So this one says, I actually sadly didn't really enjoy this one very much this time around, so I think this person had reread the book. But then I did find a couple that were really positive, like Abby said, I can't believe it took me so long to read this one. So good. Also, where's the movie? I agree, Abby, where is the movie? And then this review only had 2 stars, and Erin basically said that she felt like it was a little bit boring in comparison to the other 2. I'm kind of getting the vibe that it does have a lower rating overall because the Pevensies, the main 4 kids that I've been reading about thus far in the first 3 books, aren't in this 4th book. The Book Geek gave it 3 stars, and she said, it become apparent that this may be my least favorite of the series. She said, I know exactly what I missed to the Pevensies. I know it's kind of crazy that these are very old, very well-known books, and I don't actually know how the whole series ends.
In the 7th and final book of the Chronicles of Narnia,
it was crazy
how hard it is to read the last battle.
Violent, depressing.
It does kind of seem grim.
What the heck is that? That's terrifying.
But it's also supposed to be a happy ending.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
But something that I have been seeing when I search anything about these books is that the ending is apparently so sad and I think kind of shocking. Like, I think there's some kind of plot twist type of thing that happens at the end. I'm not exactly sure. All I know is I've been seeing a lot about the devastating ending. I don't really see how you can make a really sad ending about something as lighthearted as Chronicles of Narnia. Okay, so I just listened to a good like 5 chapters while I was driving, and now I'm like really far into the book. It says I only have 2 hours left of the entire book, so I think I might even be able to finish this tonight. I just finished reading The Silver Chair. This one was also pretty creepy. Like, the whole underground area and the witch was very like eerie. Probably the creepiest one that I've read too. But I did really like it. Obviously read it in 2 days. I'm starting to realize that it might not be the best idea for me to read reviews before I read the book because it really does change my perspective of them. I also saw something that said this book doesn't have as many illustrations, which honestly is really bumming me out. And then I saw a 3-star which only said, you know you're bored when it takes nearly a month to read something of this length. I know it makes me a little bit nervous. But then again, I've been nervous going into all of them thinking that they might be bad. They turn out being good. So I have made a mistake. So first of all, I haven't read anything at all today. And there is one main reason why I haven't read anything. It's because I started watching Survivor. I am unhealthily obsessed with the show Survivor. It's kind of embarrassing, but if you tried it, you would get it. It's such a good show. And I started a new season tonight, and because of that, all I've been doing is watching Survivor. And I know that's my own fault, but I wasn't thinking about that when I started it, and now I can't stop. So I'm just feeling really annoyed with myself because I haven't read anything, and I don't really want to read anything. I just want to keep watching this show. Eventually, I did finish this book, but I still felt pretty bad about myself because it took me way too long to finish it. At least I could reward myself with this delicious chicken burrito that I totally made all by myself. I decided not to read reviews for The Magician's Nephew before starting it in hopes I could go into it with a fresh mind and make my own opinions about the book. I finished The Magician's Nephew. I didn't film that much about it because I read it super fast. Obviously, the best part about this book was seeing like all of the origins of everything, how Narnia came to exist, which is kind of the purpose of the whole book. And obviously the best part, if I had to choose my least favorite, it would probably be this one. I think just because this one felt to me a little bit more, like a little bit sillier. It wasn't as serious, which made it feel much more like a children's book than the others do, which obviously they're all kids books, but this one felt like more so like a kid's book. I have officially read all 6 of the first books, and now I just have the last battle left.
The last battle.
Violent, depressing.
It does kind of seem grim.
I had a lot of hopes for what it was going to be about and who was going to be in it and stuff. Crazy things are happening. I don't know if I'm supposed to understand everything, and I'm just not. And it's doing exactly what I want it to do, and it's so satisfying. Or it's supposed to be a little bit confusing. Like, it's kind of a sad idea, but it's like happening in a really good and like happy way, I guess. I also have no idea how it could possibly end. Now, the entire series has been read. The ending is very shocking. I'm gonna say something kind of crazy, which is that I actually thought it was pretty satisfying at the end. This was so fun. I loved reading these books. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this series to people who are wanting just a fun, lighthearted, easy to read fantasy series. I'm really happy I ended up pushing myself to read these books because they're now some of my all-time favorites. I think I need to trust my own opinions a little bit more when it comes to books. And with food too, because even though those meals were good, I'm actually really excited to get back to my spaghetti.